Welcome to This Day in Baseball. We bring you everything from the thrill of victory to the agony of defeat and every milestone and oddball event in between. Today's game is courtesy of thisdayinbaseball.com. You can come for a peek, make friends for a lifetime. Before, after, and during the game, check out the links below the video and visit the player pages, parks, and teams as you listen to this blast from the past. You can catch us on every social media platform, and I want to do a special thanks to MLB Classic Radio Archives for this broadcast. Now, let's play ball! Hey fans, welcome to the Daily Rewind. My name's Tom Hannon, and I'm your host. This is brought to you by thisdayinbaseball.com, and this is a very exciting day as we're going to bring you Game 1 of the 1959 World Series played by the Chicago White Sox and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, during the 1951 World Series, Game 1 was held on October 1st at historic Comiskey Park. It hosted a crowd of over 48,000. That included Hollywood stars such as Joan Crawford and Orson Welles. It was the first championship game in 40 years since the infamous Black Sox scandal, and it was also the first postseason game in 14 years in Chicago. And on the mound for the White Sox was Early Wynn, and he was faced by Roger Craig of the Dodgers. And the White Sox, the Go-Go Sox, would jump all over Roger Craig, scoring 2 in the first. Ted Kluszewski and Sherm Lawler had RBI singles, and then they pounded across 7 runs in the third. Nellie Fox doubled, Jim Landis single, Kluszewski hit a 2-run homer, and they knocked Craig right out of the game. And it was just a rout by the White Sox, but it's still, nonetheless, just a fantastic game to listen to. This would be actually the last game the Chicago White Sox would win at Comiskey Park in the World Series until 2005, when they actually won the World Series for the first time in 87 years. So it was really it was a cool event, and I hope you enjoy it. And before you do, I just want to say you can also go to my website. There's links below where you can actually see the box score. You can see the play-by-play, and you can get a lot more information about the players if you'd like. History of the players, recaps of their careers, and a recap of this even more information about this game, which was played on October 1st, and all the events on October 1st. And if you enjoy it, I hope you subscribe and you share the show. That would be awesome if you did that. And also, we have a link if you're a fan of the White Sox to the Chicago White Sox Comiskey Park Stadium shirts. Brings back some great memories to have, and we also have a link to the Dodgers for Dodger Stadium, so you can check those out as well. So without further ado, here's the game. Enjoy.
Cavalcade of Sports is on the air.
And feel sharp. Take this new Gillette. It's a razor that you quickly set for your beard, your skin. It's up to you. It's adjustable and man, it's new, brand new.
This is Mel Allen at Comiskey Park in Chicago. There are 2 firsts today. This is the first time a West Coast team has appeared in the series, and the first time in Gillette's 21 years of broadcasting this great classic that we're coming to you from Comiskey Park in Chicago. Gillette broadcasts and telecasts major attractions on the Cavalcade of Sports the year round. Events that include the World Series, World's Invitational Match Game Bowling Championships, Blue-Gray Football Game, Rose Bowl Game, Kentucky Derby, All-Star Baseball Game, and the feature fight of the week every Friday night. This is our way of thanking you for using Gillette products. This broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. And any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express consent of the Commissioner is prohibited. It's been a long time in Chicago at Comiskey Park. 40 years, a long wait. And White Sox fans are just as excited as they could possibly be over the dramatic pennant victory of Al Lopez's men. And what could be more dramatic than the Los Angeles Dodgers, coming from 7th place last year, going into a playoff, winning it in 2 straight, and suddenly here we are, opening up the World Series a day later than scheduled because of the playoffs, and under perfect weather, 64 degrees, with a wind coming from the northwest at 8 miles per hour. This is known generally as a pitcher's ballpark because, as a rule, the wind blows in. And today it is doing just that. Once in a while the wind will shift, but it is blowing in today. And speaking of the pitchers, as advertised, the great early win for the Chicago White Sox. And the young man who finished sensationally after coming back to the Dodgers from the minors, Roger Craig. The Dodgers did not even work out here yesterday. They were tired. Manager Walt Austin said, "Get some rest, boys," and so they saw Comiskey Park today for the first time as they came out to take their practice. The umpires are coming out, and we're going to give you the lineups for the opening game of the World Series. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, Jim Gilliam leading off, third base. Charlie Neal, second base. Wally Moon, left field. Duke Snider, center field. Norm Larker, right field. Gil Hodges, first base. Johnny Roseboro, catching. Maury Wills, shortstop. Roger Craig, pitching. For the Chicago White Sox, Louie Aparicio, shortstop. Nellie Fox, second base. Jim Landis, center field. Ted Kluszewski, a late season arrival in the White Sox batting order as they acquired his contract from the Pittsburgh Pirates, first base. Sherm Lawler, catching. Billy Goodman, third base. Al Smith, left field. Jim Rivera, right field. Early Wynn, pitching. The 1959 World Series is being brought to you from Comiskey Park in Chicago.
May I help you?
Yes. I want something to relieve my child's cough.
My family takes Thorexin, the guided cough medicine.
Guided? What do you mean?
Well, Thorexin is guided right to the spot where coughing is controlled, the cough control center. You see, doctors know coughing is not controlled in the throat. Your throat merely follows orders from the cough control center, which sends the message, and you cough. Now, ordinary cough syrups don't even touch the cough center. Until now, only cough medicines with narcotics could depress this cough center. But narcotics may leave undesirable side effects. Instead of narcotics, Thorexin contains dimethorphan. Thorexin soothes your throat, then speeds through your bloodstream directly to the cough control center. Thorexin relieves coughing like aspirin relieves headaches. Fast, sure, safe for the whole family. So try Thorexin, the guided cough medicine.
The Los Angeles Dodgers came into this World Series with a sensational finish, beating the Milwaukee Braves, the defending champions in the National League, in the playoff, and it was the third playoff for a Dodger ball club, and the third in National League history. The Dodgers in 1946 lost to the Cardinals, and in 1954 they lost to the Giants, but this time they won the playoff. Manager Walt Austin, who twice before has led the Dodgers into World Series competition, did a magnificent job in bringing his team from 7th place last year to 1st place. And that's the first time in National League history that has ever been done. The last time that happened in the American League, the New York Yankees in 1925 finished 7th and jumped back to 1st place in 1926. And the Boston Red Sox finished 7th in 1945 and jumped to 1st place in 1946. This ballpark, to give you a bit of an idea of its layout, is standardized in the distances all around the park. From home plate down the left field line is 352 feet. 352 feet down the right field line. At a point in left center, it's 375. At a similar point in right center, 375. Straightaway center are the two bullpens divided and a little fence about 4 or 5 feet high, and it's 415 feet away. It's a double-decked affair. It is a pitcher's ballpark as a rule. And plenty of running room for the outfielders to go get those drives. We will have different dimensions, of course, when we go to the Los Angeles Coliseum. There is a fence 12 feet high. The double-decked stands will run, of course, somewhere in the neighborhood of, 75 or 80 feet high to the top of the pavilion. To get to the starting pitchers, Roger Craig, for the visitors, won 11 and lost 5. He's had quite a comeback year, just as has Early Wynn. Last year, Roger Craig, after having been demoted by the Dodgers because of a sore arm, lost 17 games in the American Association with St. Paul, and the 6'4" North Carolinian from Durham, bothered by arm trouble, plagued him last spring. The Dodgers farmed him out to Spokane, brought him up in mid-June, and he went on to win 11, and he lost 5. And he did a tremendous job, ended the 1959 season with a 5-game winning streak. Pitched complete games in his last 3 starts. He has pitched in 3 World Series games, 2 of them starting the 5th game of the 55 series against the Yankees at Ebbets Field, winning 5-3, giving up 2 runs, 4 hits, and 6 innings. And in 1956, he started the 3rd game at Yankee Stadium, lost it 5-3. He was used in relief in the 7th game of the 56 series at Ebbets Field. His overall series record, 12 innings, 14 hits, 10 runs, all of them earned 8 walks and 8 strikeouts. Early Wynn is one of the all-time winning pitchers. At 39 years of age, he won 22 games. He lost 10. He pitched in only 1 World Series against the Giants at the Polo Grounds and lost it. He has won 271 Major League games and stands 15th among the all-time winners. He led the majors in victories this year, and in his only previous series game, he started for Cleveland against the Giants in the 2nd game of 1954, losing it 3-1, giving up only 4 hits in 7 innings. These 2 ball clubs sport good defense. The Dodgers figure to have a little more power. The Dodgers have depth in pitching, though, as Walt Alston says, a great deal depends on control. When they have control, they can pour the ball by you. The White Sox, with Early Wynn, the bellwether, have Billy Pierce and a surprise this year in George Shaw. And they have good pitching, good relief pitching in Jerry Staley and Turk Lown. Right now we have at home plate a color guard, and we'll have a band in the moment playing as we have our national anthem. But this series promises to be one in which you will find both teams playing close to the vest baseball quite a lot. The White Sox have won an amazing number of 1-run games, and so have the Dodgers. They get a man on, they sacrifice him. They have men who can steal bases. And so it's going to be an exciting series in that respect. And you also have catchers on both sides, Roseboro and Lawler, who can fire that ball. Louie Aparicio, who stole 56 bases this year, is a man to be watched. And a fellow like Maury Wills is one of the fastest men in the majors. And the young man who came along later in the season with the Dodgers took over at shortstop and helped solidify the team. Both managers really know their baseball. Walt Alston has had previous World Series experience. Al Lopez has always been a bridesmaid, but never quite a bride. He has never finished lower than second in Cleveland or Chicago, but this is the year for the senor. Al Lopez, one of the best-liked men in baseball. And so we're looking forward to one of the most exciting World Series. This is America's greatest sports spectacle. The umpires, Bill Summers, the American League at home plate. This will be his 8th appearance. He's from Upton, Massachusetts. Frank Dascoli of Danielson, Connecticut at first base of the National League. Summers from Upton, Mass. And Dascoli from Danielson, Connecticut. Ed Hurley from Holyoke, Massachusetts of the American League. And his 3rd series will be at second base. And Frank Sicori of Port Huron, Michigan will be the umpire at 3rd base. It's his 2nd series. Johnny Rice of the American League in his 1st series, a native of Chicago, along the left field line. And Hal Dixon will be stationed along the right field foul line. He of the National League, and he's from St. Petersburg, Florida. So the 28-year-old Roger Craig and the 39-year-old Early Wynn will be the opening game pitchers. And already both managers have named their pitchers for tomorrow. It'll be George Shaw for the White Sox and Johnny Podres for the Dodgers. The weather today is a little bit on the cool side, but fine, 64 degrees. And, of course, they're jam-packed here. Comiskey Park's seating capacity is 46,550, but with standing room, they may move closer to 50,000. While at the Los Angeles Coliseum, they can pack in close to 100,000. But right now, we will have
the 1959 World Series.
And now our national anthem, Tony Martin. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification.
WGY 810 on your dial and WGFM Schenectady.
And so the scene is set for the first game of the 1959 World Series, the 10th World Series and the 57th World Series game for the Dodgers. This is the 4th series and the 21st series game for the White Sox. 10 Dodger players have had previous World Series experience. Perillo, Hodges, Snider, Gilliam, Labine, Craig, Podres, Drysdale, Neal, and Zimmer. Koufax was eligible for 55. There go the White Sox on the field. Smith, Torgerson, Lawler, and Wynn are previous series men that are on the White Sox team, and they were with other clubs. as the White Sox take the field. And as we get set for the first game of the World Series, it is with great pleasure that I turn the microphone over to my colleague, one of America's great sports voices. Our paths crossed many times on national sports events. During the season, he broadcast the Philadelphia Phillies games. Byram Sound.
Thank you very much, Mel. And right now, Red Faber, who was on the championship team in 1917 when the White Sox last won the World's Championship, makes the first throw. His old battery mate, Ray Schalk, is also here. And, of course, it's great to see these old-timers. As Mel mentioned, the White Sox are already on the field. You couldn't ask for a better baseball day. And now the Dodgers are getting ready to go to bat. Now, this World Series, as you know, has to go 4 games, and it can go as long as 7. Matter of fact, over the last 3 years, the series has carried to the full 7 games. 39-year-old right-hander Early Wynn is now warming up. His only World Series performance in 1954, he was defeated, and the fellow that actually knocked him out of the game was the fabulous Dusty Rhodes. Now, the Dodgers have come into the World Series after winning 2 over the Milwaukee Braves. It's been a fantastic Cinderella team that comes here from Los Angeles. And as Mal mentioned earlier, they were so tired after their plane trip back to Chicago that they did not work out here yesterday. So we're ready to go. The World Series of 1959. And here to lead off, Gilliam, third baseman, a switch hitter. And over the season in the National League was batting at .282. Now Wynn has most everything at his control. He's a fierce competitor. He's fast. He throws slow, tantalizing curveballs. He throws a screwball. Here comes the first pitch of the ball game. Gilliam takes it down the pipe as strike 1. Gilliam will be followed by Charlie Neal and Wally Moore. Roseboro, later on, of course, coming up batting 7th. Craig against Wynn today. Inside and low, 1-1. Wynn won more games than any other pitcher in the major leagues. Quite a comeback. He won 14 a year ago, but this season, a 22-game winner. The Husky swings into action. Strike 2 is called on Junior. Gilliam, of course, is the ideal leadoff man. He draws a lot of walks. He's an excellent bunter. Billy Goodman, who was playing up a bit shallow, is now backed up to normal depth. Wins ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a bounding ball to shortstop. Louie Aparicio makes the first out as he hooks the ball to Ted Kluszewski, and that's all for Junior Gilliam. 1 gone. Yes, it's been a long time since the Chicago fans have had a World Series in the Windy City. You have to go back to 1945 when the Cubs were in the World Series, and of course way back to 1919 when the Sox were last in the series. Here's one of the finest infielders in baseball. His name is Charlie Neal, second baseman and a right-handed batter. Goes into the series with a .287 average over the season, including the 2 playoff games. Swinging, strike 1. Now, Charlie will be a tremendous threat back at the Coliseum. That's where the 3rd game will be played next Sunday, for he has hit most of his 19 home runs at the Coliseum. The Sox are playing him straight away. Fastball, he cuts and fouls it off. Strike 2. Now, Charlie is rated as one of the best curveball hitters in baseball. And these first 2 pitches offered up by Wynn have been fast ones up around the letters. On the coaching lines today for the Dodgers, the veteran Greg Malevy at first base, and Pee Wee Reese, one of the all-time greats, is coaching at third base. 1 out and nobody out. Wynn ahead, 0-2. Inside, a ball. It's very interesting to notice the skipper, Al Lopez, standing here at the extreme right end of the home team dugout, which is located just off to our left on the third base side. He was trying to make an adjustment on his right fielder, Jim Rivera. Outside, breaking pitch, 2-2. I would say the crowd is over 50,000 today. Standing room only. All points lead to Comiskey Park today. Two balls, two strikes. Wynn into the motion. Outside pitch is slapped foul, and this ball is carrying over to the right side of the plate and going on to the roof. Most of the streets in Chicago have been designated as one-way avenues. Later on, when the game is over, they all lead back to the loop. Even new street signs have been added here to show people, the visitors, how to get to this famous Comiskey Park. Two balls, two strikes. Long fly ball, but it's curving foul to left. Al Smith coming over, but it disappears into the upper deck. Two balls and two strikes. In the on-deck circle is Wally Moon. Now, some of these Dodgers have never seen this ballpark. And these teams did not even meet in spring training. They had a couple of games scheduled, but they were rained out. 2-2. Another foul. Neal stays alive. Now your infield for the Sox. Billy Goodman operating at third. Aparicio at short. Ellie Fox at second base. Ted Kluszewski, the huge first baseman who came over on the 25th of August at first. And in the outfield, it's Al Smith, Jim Landis, Jimmy Rivera. Waller catching. 2-2. Ball three is low and outside. Neal standing fairly deep in the batting box. This fella has a real good, level, short swing. He taps one wide of third. Billy Goodman can't handle it. The ball skids off the glove and goes back of Aparicio. And Charlie Neal is safe with a base hit. A base hit. The first of the World Series of 1959. Manager Walt Alston will tell you Wally Moon coming to bat. This wiry Texan was the most consistent ball player he had all year. He came from the St. Louis Cardinals, and he played in practically every game. Wally is a left-handed batter. Mel and I were trying to decide whether he was in left or right, but today he is starting in left field. Now Wynn keeps an eye on the base runner, Charlie Neal. A token throw, he's safe. One out and one man on at the top of the first inning. The Dodgers at bat. Wynn throws. Strike called. A good fastball. On the season, Wally hit .302. And on the bases, he's a very, very good, daring base runner. He'll take a base when you least expect it. Now Wynn again flips over to first base. Neal still there. All right, the cagey right-hander throws, and Moon sends a high fly ball to left. It's playable, and Aparicio is coasting back and getting under, and Louie puts it away for the second out. Two gone. Duke Snider, veteran of many World Series, batting in the cleanup spot, now coming in. It's amazing that Duke has been in 6 World Series. He's been in 32 ball games. And, of course, in a couple of those series against the Yankees, he was red hot. I think another one of the reasons that Los Angeles came back so strongly from 7th to win the title was a couple of their old pros, fellas like Snider and Hodges, Carl Furillo. Duke's a left-hander. They play him deep to right, and strike one is called. Now, the wind at all times in Chicago is a factor, and it is blowing directly in from center field at about 8 miles an hour. Neal gets a pretty good lead, and there he goes. The pitch is outside, and Charlie Neal steals second base. He got a great lead on Early Win that time, and a successful steal of second base. Well, this is one of the things that we were looking for from the Chicago White Sox. And Charlie Neal, who during the season was the second best base stealer on the Dodger ball club, has come up with the first steal in the series. Now they've got a runner at second base. The count on the Duke, 1 ball, 1 strike. Now Lollard's throw was accurate enough, but it was a late. Here we go. Foul. It's sent directly back into the screen. Well, the press box today is completely overloaded. Down in front of us, the visiting scribes from all over the country are actually sitting in some of the choice seats here that would be utilized during the regular season. And Mel and I have a wonderful position to call the game today. We're directly behind home plate, sitting up high, just under the rooftop. 2 men are gone. No score, but the Dodgers have Charlie Neal at second base. Wynn is very slow, very deliberate. Stretches, throw. Outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fox, who plays the hitters about as well as anyone, plays a very deep second base on Snider. Kluszewski playing deep and fairly close to the line at first. Outside, low. That ball just missed the strike zone. You can see Wynn sort of clench his fist out there and says, gee, I thought I had it. A full count on Snider. Charlie Neal came up with an infield single and then moved into second base with a successful steal. Now something's got to give. Wynn on the stretch. Here's a pitch. High for ball 4. Snider walks. And the Dodgers have runners at first and second base. Well, you could see Wynn was certainly trying to work the corners, and he didn't give Snider too much to hit at. Now Norm Locker is hitting in the number 5 batting spot. Norm Locker. Locker hit .290 on the season. They've got him in right field. And there was a time when Gil Hodges was hurt, and he took over at first base. Sends one foul, a high twisting ball. It's off on the third base side. Strike 1. Locker has to be one of the most underrated players on the Dodger ball club. He reminds me a lot of Nellie Fox. He's had to fight his way into the major leagues. And this fellow was a consistent 300 hitter 4 years in a row in the minor leagues before he got a chance in the big show. Austin loves to rave about this fellow's swing. A short swing and a very level swing. He's a left-handed batter. Wynn cuts loose outside. 1-1. This batter, Norm Locker, is considered to be the Dodgers' best bunter. And he won a few games for L.A. this year with a squeeze bunt. Strike. Good breaking pitch. The booming voice of Bill Summers, the veteran of the American League, working behind the plate today. two added umpires today, one down the right field line and one down the left field line. This is the first game of the World Series. The Dodgers are posing a threat here in the first inning. 2 on, 2 out. And Walker the batter. Wynn ahead. He throws. There's a well-hit ball to right field. Jimmy Rivera is over though, waiting, and the White Sox have come out of the first inning. Los Angeles, no runs, 1 hit, 2 left. There were no errors. The score completing a half inning from Comiskey Park today. L.A. nothing, Chicago nothing. Well, the leadoff man in the bottom of the first inning will be Louie Aparicio. And what a ball player he is. Unanimously voted the top shortstop in the league. He is a leading candidate for the Most Valuable Player award. Of course, Louie is a Gillette user and one of our top boosters. Now listen what he has to say about the new Gillette adjustable razor. Yes, there's nothing like a razor you set to your own skin and beard. Boy, what comfort I get. Now, fans, you'll agree with Louie, I'm sure, that once you try that amazing new Gillette 195 adjustable, and here's why. This sensational new razor has a dial located right on the handle. You adjust it instantly to match your particular combination of skin and beard. Now, there are 9 different numbered stops. At the settings with the lower numbers, you expose less blade edge. As you dial a higher number, blade exposure and angle increase. With the adjustment that's exactly right for you, well, shaving is a breeze. Clean, quick, and with comfort that's almost unbelievable. Yes, the Gillette adjustable with dispenser of Gillette Blue Blades and travel case costs just $1.95. Right-hander Roger Craig warming up. Easygoing North Carolinian who has been the hottest Dodger pitcher over the last 3 weeks. Here is Louie Aparicio. He stands only 5'8", but he is the darling of the fans here in Chicago. He is batting at .257. From Maracaibo, Venezuela, a right-handed batter. Here's Craig's pitch, strike one, call. Craig at one time was a fine fastball pitcher. However, he encountered arm trouble. Today, he is principally a slider and sinker ball artist. Strike 2 is called. And he prides himself in getting the ball over the plate. Austin has already pointed out, to beat the White Sox, you've got to keep this little fellow off the bases. He pops one up near second base, and the shortstop is coming over. That's Maury Wills, who makes it 1 down. Nellie Fox.
Number 2, the second baseman, Nelson Fox.
Nellie is the only 300 hitter in the Chicago lineup today, batting at .306. But what a competitor he is. Bats him left-handed. From St. Thomas, Pennsylvania. And I suppose that about half of that little community in western Pennsylvania is attending this World Series. Outside, low. 1-0. It's Craig pitching with Roseboro catching. Your infield is Junior Gilliam, Maury Wills, Charlie Neal, and Gil Hodges. Walker, Snider, and Moon holding down the outfield. Now Fox steps out and apparently has asked the plate umpire to look over the ball. 1-0. Outside, a ball. Now Fox is an unusual hitter. He cataloged as a spray hitter. He stands right on top of the plate. And he gets many of his hits to left field. High for ball 3. Well, the Dodgers had 2 men on in the first inning, but could not score. It's 0-0 in the first game of the World Series from Chicago. Strike. Jimmy Landis, another one of the speed boys of the Go-Go Sox, is on deck. Craig fires high for ball 4. And the Sox have a base runner. Outfielder Jimmy Landis coming up.
Number 1, the center fielder, Jim Landis.
Jimmy Landis, one of the bright stars coming along. You just can't beat this fella in the outfield. And Lopez gets a lot of credit for the patience he's had with this youngster in bringing him along as a batter. Strike one call. Over the past season, he hit .264. Jimmy Landis. And I noticed the Dodgers, and they've scouted this club very, very well. They play him to left. Here's a pitch out, a throw to first base, and there goes Fox sliding in. He's back safely. Now the Dodgers figured that Fox was going to be on his way. One. Swings. He tried to go to right field that time and fouls it off. 1-2. Now, the second game of the World Series will originate here in Chicago tomorrow, and it will be coming on the air at 1:45 Eastern Daylight Time. It has been announced that Johnny Padres and Bob Shaw will pitch tomorrow. Saturday will be a travel date, and the third game of the World Series will come from Los Angeles on Sunday. At a later time, another foul. Craig working an outside edge on this young outfielder. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Landis is 25 years old, and he hails from Richmond, California. Now, Bill Summers has stopped the ball game and has moved out to the mound. He's talking to Craig. Craig down the stretch was simply terrific. He won his last 5 games. And, of course, pitched a wonderful game last Sunday against the Cubs right here in Chicago to help clinch the pennant, at least a tie for it. Outside and low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. One gone. Fox edging off at first base. Outside and low. He just missed with his slider pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the coaches for the White Sox, Tony Cuccinello at third base, and Don Gutteridge really whipping up some enthusiasm as a coach at first base. Here we go. He swings, a line drive, a base hit into right center. Fox is going to make it to third base as the ball is fielded by Locker. A single. And the White Sox fans are really cheering now. How do you like young Jim Landis, his first time up in World Series competition? Comes through with a solid base hit. Well, the White Sox have runners at first and third, 1 out. And here's one of their late additions. He's been quite a ball player. The Mammoth, Ted Kluszewski, who was born and raised right here near Chicago, but today makes his home in Cincinnati. He joined the White Sox, coming over from Pittsburgh on the 25th of August. Outside a ball. On the season, he hit .275. And about 3 years ago, it was doubtful if Ted was going to stay in baseball at all. He had a very, very severe hip and back condition. Strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Roger Craig in a bit of hot water here in the first. Fox got a walk. And Landis hit a 3-2 pitch. Lined it over Charlie Neal's head into right center. 1-1. There goes a runner. The hit and run is on. A base hit. Here comes Fox home, and the White Sox lead 1-0. Getting a taste of how the White Sox win ball games. Nellie Fox already at third. Landis took off. And, of course, just the movement of the base runner sometimes throws the infield a bit off. And there was a hole between first and second, and Kluszewski poured it through there. So the mighty Ted has batted across the first run of the game. 1-0 Chicago. Although Kluszewski has been in baseball for many years, this is the first time he's ever played in the World Series. Fowler batting at 266. He tries a bunt, and he loops it foul. Strike one. We looked back through our records on World Series competition, and we found that Lawler did catch back in 1947. He believes that the Chicago team of this year is the greatest he's ever played for. He's a right-hander, and, of course, over the last week or so, he's been out with an injured hand. Jim Bunning of Detroit hitting. Accidental pitch got away, and it was a bruise, and he was held out of competition there for a few days. But he's the real leader of this Chicago pitching staff. He operates like Del Crandall of that Milwaukee Brave team. There's a full foul to left. Strike two. Sherm hit 22 home runs during the season, which was the highest total of all of the Chicago ball players. Chuck Churn is now starting to throw a few in the bullpen. And I might add, here in Comiskey Park, the two bullpens are located straight away in center. The Dodger bullpen to the right of the flagpole, and the home team bullpen just to the left, and the huge scoreboard just above it. Every seat taken here for the first game of the series. Terrific first inning so far. The Sox are leading. Outside, low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, Craig did get into a World Series in 1955. As a matter of fact, he was a winner over the Yankees. The next year, in 1956, he was defeated by Whitey Ford in a World Series game, 5-3. 2 men are on. The stretch of the pitch, and it's a slap foul. It's just off to our right. And caught by one of the visiting Scribes. Needless to say, there were hundreds and hundreds of writers talking with Craig before the game. He seemed to be more concerned about his hitting. He says, I'm not a bad hitter. He throws. Outside, low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nellie Fox has already scored the first run of the 1959 World Series. He scampered home on a single by Ted Kluszewski. And Craig is not out of the woods by any means. Landis is now at third. Kluszewski at first. 1 out. Inside and high. Ball 3. And they've got Craig working. It's the second 3-2 count he's run up in the last half of the first inning. 1-0's the score. The Chicago White Sox lead. 3 balls, 2 strikes. A pop foul. It's carrying, I believe, out of play. Yes, coming over just beyond the photographer's ledge. One of the most terrific things about the Dodger team and its amazing stretch run has been their terrific pitching, as Mel Allen told you earlier. This club won 15 out of its last 20 games. And if they were not strong in the starting, they had some terrific youngsters to come out of that bullpen. All right, 3-2 to Lawler. He swings, a line drive, ball hit into deep right center field. Locker way out. Center fielder Snider. It's grabbed by Locker. Here's a tag, and here comes the second run across. And I want you to know that that ball was really hit into that wind. Lawler is out, but it's a sacrifice fly. Landis has come across, and Chicago leads by a score of 2-0. Kluszewski remained at first base. That ball was really hit, and the way Locker went for it and then almost gave up on it, he heard Snider coming along, but Locker stayed with it, and it is quite a catch. An RBI for Sherm Lawler. Now your batter is Billy Goodman, a very much underrated ball player who takes strike one. Now in this series, you can look for Billy Goodman and Bubba Phillips to alternate at third. Here's a fly ball into center. Snider backing off, has the room, and the Duke has it for the final out. Well, that was quite a first inning, wasn't it, for Chicago? 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 man left on. There were no errors, and at the end of the first inning, the score, Chicago 2, LA nothing.
Just twist that dial and you're all set with the adjustable razor by Gillette. For shave so easy, fast and clean. So try and see what we mean.
We pause now, 30 seconds for station identification.
Saratoga Vichy's living carbonation never goes flat, stays sparkling alive to give you extra dry flavor. That's why Saratoga Vichy always tastes better. Insist on Saratoga Vichy.
Saratoga Vichy.
Yellow label,
Saratoga Vichy.
yellow label.
Saratoga Vichy.
WGY, WGFM Schenectady. Series time is clean sweep time on all 59 Plymouth cars and Suburbans at Schenectady, Plymouth. Jim Schultz says, come and get them at clean sweep prices, 1016 State Street, Schenectady.
Comiskey Park decked out in all of its glory today. And the White Sox are leading 2-0 as we enter the top half of the second inning. Gil Hodges will be leading off.
The first baseman, Gil Hodges.
Hodges, over the last couple of weeks of the National League pennant race, usually was batting in the number 5 batting spot. He's an old pro. He's been in 7 World Series. And, of course, Gil has had his ups and downs. 2 weeks ago, he was almost bandaged from head to foot, but he kept playing. He's a fellow that seems to get the clutch hits. The powerful-looking right-handed batter. Wynn gets this one over. Strike one call. Hodges to be followed by Johnny Roseborough, the catcher, and Maury Wills, the shortstop. Aparicio plays well over toward third base on this right-hander. Outside. A ball. Early Wynn is working today against Roger Craig. And, of course, in a series that cannot go more than 7 games, winning that first one is a mighty big item. Outside, ball 2. Now Wynn, it appears, has great stuff. He's trying to work the corners. He ran the count full in the first inning on 2 batters and lost each one of them. 2 balls and a strike. There's a well-hit ball to left field. Smith backing up. He's near the wall. He has it. That ball was hit a good 350 feet away. And it's only 352 feet to the left field wall. To give you an idea. 1 down. Number 44, the left-handed hitting catcher of the Dodger ball team, John Roseborough.
Number 44. The catcher.
Johnny Roseborough from Compton, California. Johnny didn't hit too high on the average, but he certainly came up with some big hits over the last week. Fouls this one out of play. Strike one. Many of you remember his home run at Milwaukee on Monday won the first game in the playoff, 3-2. Good power to right. Nobody on, one out. Wind cuts loose, a change, it's high. 1-1. Even at 39 years of age, Wynn has one of the most graceful moves and pitching motions of anyone I've ever known. Too high, ball two. Anytime the Sox were in difficulty this year, he was a man that won the key game. There was a stretch in September when the Sox lost 3 in a row, and they were starting to worry. And he stopped that losing streak in a hurry. 2-1. A foul up and overhead. 2-2. It's nice to be talking with you. The World Series is underway. The first 2 games, as you know, are to be staged here in the American League Park. The next 3 will come from Los Angeles, the Coliseum, and if more games are needed, back here in Chicago. 2-2. Wynn throws. Fly ball, infield, third base side, and Aparicio is making the call. And Louie stays with it for the out. You know, with a glove and on base, there is no equal to that little fella, Aparicio. 2 gone. The score is 2-0. The White Sox lead in the first game of the World Series. Maury Wills, shortstop, is being announced. Now, Maury has certainly been an integral part of this Dodger success. He wasn't even with the Dodger ball club in spring training. He has become a switch hitter, and he certainly did a tremendous job for them in the month of September. Strike one call. He is batting left-handed. While he hit .260 on the season, he hit better than .400 in the month of September. 2 gone and nobody on. Foul. Spinning off on the third base side. Strike 2. Wynn has given up 1 hit. Also a walk. And he had the right pitch to get out of the first inning. The heavy-set right-hander throws high and inside. A ball. At the moment, the sun has disappeared. Temperature reading is in the mid-60s. High and outside, ball 2. It's been interesting to watch Maury Wills. He formerly was a right-handed batter, and he decided to go to switching. Built along the lines of Louie Aparicio. 2-2. Outside, ball 3. He was telling many of the writers, broadcasters, and TV men today that Richie Ashburn gave him a little tip. He found that he was lifting his left leg just before swinging into the pitch. And on that tip, he went on to have a tremendous late surge. 3-2. He struck him out. That's all for Maury Wills. A strikeout for Wynn. No runs, no hits, nobody left on for Los Angeles. And at the end of 1.5 from Comiskey Park, the Dodgers nothing, Chicago 2. You know, there's almost 1,000 sport writers covering the news of this game today. And now here's another piece of news. That Gillette 195 adjustable razor gives shaving comfort like you've never had before. Have you tried it yet? Believe me, fans, it's the greatest. Let me tell you about it. There are 9 different adjustments on this razor. You just turn the micrometer dial to the one that matches your skin and beard exactly. You set it at a higher number, you expose more blade edge. At lower numbers, retracts the blade. Yes, it's that easy to find your setting, and then the comfort you get, well, it's all but unbelievable. See the Gillette 195 adjustable razor. Try it. With dispenser of Gillette Blue Blades and streamlined travel case, it costs $1.95. Along with Mel Allen, this is By Song. We're sitting in on the first game of the World Series. The Sox lead 2-0. Roger Craig getting ready to go, and the batter is Al Smith.
Number 16, the left fielder, Al Smith.
Smitty was in one of the World Series. As a matter of fact, he got a home run in the first inning. He's happy to be here in Chicago. On the season, he hit .237, and Craig pitches a quick sinker inside and low. 1-0. They play Al Smith as a full hitter to left. Strike, says Bill Summers. Roger Craig throws, and Smith ran up on the pitch, tried a bunt, and it is fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The White Sox made good use of a walk, 2 singles, and a sacrifice fly to get 2 runs home in the first inning. Strike 3 called, and that's all for Al Smith. Craig hangs up a strikeout.
Batting in the 8th position, number 7, the right fielder.
Right fielder,
Rivera.
Jim Rivera. Jim originally hailed from Brooklyn, but now lives here in the state of Indiana. And he will be alternated in right field according to the pitching. All right, a foul that he beats along the first base line. Strike 1. Over the season, Jimmy hit at .226. But he's a real live wire, and he keeps this Chicago ball club very loose. Left-hander with a slightly open batting stance. Sends a high, twisting foul that might be playable. Hodges coming off the line, and Gill backs up and makes it. And that is all for the Chicago outfielder. 2 down.
Batting in the 9th position, number 24, the pitcher, Early Wynn.
Here comes Early Wynn, having a nice round of applause. It's going to be interesting to see how Al Lopez will rotate his starting pitchers. But the Chicago writers have been speculating all week that this fellow is likely to be a starter in 3 different games if the series goes that far. Now, Wynn is considered to be one of the best hitters in baseball, and he's a switch hitter. He had a .244 batting average over the season. He had 22 hits, and he also hit a couple of home runs. He is batting left-handed against Craig. Swinging, strike 1. Most of the managers I've talked with always point to Early Wynn. They were asked, what pitcher would you like to have if you had to win 1 ball game? Strike 2. Call. I notice that Craig works a little more faster between the pitches than Wynn. 2 gone. 2-0, Chicago leads. Taps the ball to the mound. Craig bobbles, recovers, and throws. And that's all for Early Wynn. 3 up and 3 down in the second inning for the Go-Go Sox. We have now completed 2 innings in World Series game number 1. Score, White Sox 2, LA nothing.
Now, with the miracle of guided medicine, you can relieve your cough as easily as you relieve a headache. Take Thorexin, the guided cough medicine that goes to the right spot, your cough control center. Doctors know coughing is not controlled in the throat. Your throat merely follows orders from the cough control center, which sends the message, and you cough. Now, ordinary cough syrups don't even touch the cough center. Until now, only cough medicines with narcotics could depress this cough center. But narcotics may leave undesirable side effects. Instead of narcotics, Thorexin contains dimethorphan. Thorexin soothes your throat, then speeds through your bloodstream directly to the cough control center. Thorexin relieves coughing like aspirin relieves headaches. Fast, sure, safe for the whole family. So get Thorexin, the guided cough medicine.
Roger Craig will be leading off in the top of the third inning.
In the ninth position for Los Angeles, number 38, the pitcher, Roger Craig.
Roger Craig, a right-handed batter, leading off against Wynn. And high and inside. 1-0. It's been a fantastic story on Craig. He came up from Spokane midway through the season. He had a losing record in the minor leagues, and last year at St. Paul he lost, I believe, more games than anyone in the league. But what a comeback. Here's a foul upstairs. 1-1. Of course, the reasoning on that is that he had a sore arm and he was trying to work it out. He claims today that he's a lot smarter pitcher, although he doesn't throw quite as hard. 1-1. Strike 2 is called. Lead-off batter, and he'll be followed by Jim Gilliam. A ball. Now, Craig has almost every bit of information on his baseball career at his fingertips. He was telling us he got 1 hit in the World Series. I believe that was in 1956, even though he lost the game to Whitey Ford. Swinging, he's out. That's a second strikeout in a row for Early Wynn. And here we come to the top man in the batting order, Junior Gilliam. Remember, at one time he played second base, and for a while, when the Dodgers had a championship team a few years back, he was in left field. There's a pop-up. It is playable, and Ellie Fox is backing off. Fox is under and has it. 2 gone. L.A. sends up second baseman Charlie Neal. He came along with an infield single in the first inning. A ball skidded away from Billy Goodman at third base. Then he proceeded to steal second base, but he didn't get any further. Wynn, working like a machine now, throws low and away. Ball 1. Two out and nobody on. Outside. 2-0. Now the step down on the pitch. He takes. He started to go for that pitch and takes inside high. Ball 3. early win today lives in a little community known as Nokomis, Florida. It's on the West Coast. He's one of the most popular ball players I think I've ever known, and one of the most intelligent. A foul. 3-2. He is a sports writer at different times during the year. He flies his own personal plane. But he says, I've never won a World Series game, and I'm really after this one. 3-2 as he works on Charlie Neal.
Long drive to left. Way back goes Al Smith. This ball is foul. It is foul. It went into the seats, but it's foul. And that's one of the reasons we have the extra umpire along the lines. That's John Rice of the American League, who was in a tremendously good spot to call it. Neal just missed a home run, and he didn't miss it by very many feet, believe me. Just a long strike, and the count is 3 balls, 2 strikes. Now we had to wait until the last moment on that one, but it curled out foul. And another foul ball. Lawler discarding the mask, coming back. Will he have room? No. And the batter Neal stays alive. Now this is one of the toughest parks in baseball for home run hitting. As Mel mentioned earlier, it's 352 feet down each line, and it's 415 feet straight away to center. Early delivers. There's a top ball, a wide of third, but here's little Aparicio, and Louie gets his man. A great play by Aparicio, and it's the final out here in the third inning. No runs for L.A., no hits, nobody left. We go to the last half of the third inning. It's still Chicago 2 and Los Angeles nothing. Well, Casey Stengel is certainly as good as his word. He said he'd be at today's game, even if he had to pay to get in. And believe me, he's here. You know, old Case is never at a loss for words. And he sure had some nice ones to say about that remarkable new Gillette 195 adjustable razor. And here they are. No razor I ever had even comes close to that new Gillette adjustable of yours. Believe me, you get clean, comfortable shaves that are tops. Yes, that's the story. Never before has there been a razor like the Gillette adjustable. You simply turn the adjusting dial to get 9 different degrees of edge exposure and edge angle. One fits your exact requirements. You find your setting in a jiffy. A turn to the left gives less exposure. Dial to the right for more blade edge. The Gillette 195 adjustable is a one-piece razor. Changes blades instantly. Wrenches clean fast. And it's sold with this guarantee. You get the finest shave that you've ever had or your money back. In trim travel case with Gillette Blue Blades dispenser, the Gillette adjustable costs only $1.95. And here we go. The leadoff man is Aparicio. He sends one into right. Waiting for it is Locker. And that is all for Aparicio. Goes for the first pitch. Yes, it's World Series time. And all roads in the Midwest are leading to Comiskey Park on the south side of Chicago. Aparicio has gone out twice now. And this is Nellie Fox. Foxy drew a walk in the first inning and scored the first run of the game. Strike one call. A ball. Fox chokes way up on the bat. He seldom will beat you with a home run, but he can beat you so many other ways. There's a line drive hit to right field. Down into the right field corner goes Larker. Fox is going to dig for 2. Here comes the throw. It's a double for Nellie Fox.
The first extra base hit of the ball game. Fox at second base, one gone. Jim Landis coming along to bat. You know, that kind of fooled us, too, in the broadcasting booth, because Foxy most of the time goes to left and left center for his hits. This is Jim Landis. He singled in the first inning. There's the ball to right field, a base hit. Fox is heading for the plate, and he's going to score without a throw. Norm Walker takes to second. 3-0, Chicago. How do you like that, Jimmy Landis? He has a big 2 for 2 in the first game of the World Series. And an RBI. That ball was hit just over the head of Charlie Neal, who leaped high, but he couldn't get to the ball. Now, once again, in that Dodger bullpen, Churn starts tuning up. Their number 4 hitter is Ted Kluszewski. Theodore came up with a hit. He put a hit and run on with Landis in the first inning, and he drove in the first run of the game. A move to first. Look out. Landis just got back. He went in head first. You can hear the go-go fans hollering, go, 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 Landis. Another move to first. Landis safe. Of course, you've heard so much about Louie Aparicio and his base stealing. Landis might have been overlooked, but not by the Dodgers. Now, with so much attention directed at first base, Kluszewski backs out. Inside low, the pitch. 1-0. Time is out. Here's Neal coming in from second base. The score again is 3-0. The White Sox have come up with 4 hits. You know, just a few years ago, Klu was capable of getting 35 to 40 home runs a season. But lately, he's been more of a line drive hitter. Another move to first and almost a wide throw by Craig. Good stop by Hodges. Only one out. 1 run in. Klu hits a long fly to right. Way up in the air, but it might be playable. Walker back. It is into the seat. It goes in for a home run. Park. Time is out, and Kluszewski is their boy right now. That ball took off and just got into the seat in deep right. It must have carried a good 360 feet. Walker had backed up against the wall, but dejectedly watched it go in to the second or third row. You know, after coming over to the American League earlier, Klu only hit 2 home runs to my knowledge, and they came in the same game. But, man, he really showed us power here. How about that, Mel?
He sure did. Klu has helped this club a great deal. They've had a lot of problems at first base. Earl Torgeson, who played in the World Series in '48 for the White Sox, came over, but did not hit consistently enough. The White Sox have been trying out several first basemen. They needed a long ball hitter to go with Lawler, and they got Big Klu, and of course, while, as you said, he doesn't hit the home run as often as he used to, he's still dangerous, and he just proved it.
Right you are, Mel. Now, in a moment, we'll have a new pitcher coming on, and Chuck Churn, we told you, has been warming up. Right now, we pause 30 seconds for station identification.
WGY, WGFM Schenectady. Enjoy a perfect mixed drink every time with Saratoga Vichy. No other mixer can equal the extra dry flavor, the long-lasting sparkle of the Vichy with the yellow label.
Saratoga Vichy, yellow label. Saratoga Vichy, yellow label. Saratoga Vichy.
Sacrifice a little time to save. Save money at Troy Savings Bank, where deposits made before October 15th earn a big 3.25% from October 1st.
Well, Roger Craig leaves. Manager Austin has made the first pitching change. And Chuck Churn, C-H-U-R-N, right-hander, comes on to pitch. Hails from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, 6'3", a 205-pounder. Now, here's a story on Churn.
Los Angeles, number 45, Chuck Churn.
Chuck was in 14 games for the Dodgers during the 59 season. He was one of their late arrivals. However, he did win 3 games. He lost 2 and had an earned run average of 4.94. So Craig has been knocked out after 2 1/3 innings. And what salvos? A double by Fox, a single by Landis, and a home run by Ted Kluszewski. After 2 1/3 innings, Craig is out. He gave up 5 runs, 5 hits. And that's the way the White Sox have been doing it all year. They get truly great mileage out of their hits. Of course, this Sox team, they have never been known as a powerhouse club, and yet here they're utilizing the home run in the very first game. Lawler is the batter against Churn, and the first pitch is a strike one call. Sherm had a 3-2 pitch in the center field in the first inning to get the second run home. A fly ball to left. Wally Moon is coming up. The center fielder is coming over. And they run together and they drop the ball. And into second base goes Lawler. Snider and Moon didn't quite make up their minds. And the ball is finally dropped. Let's see how they're going to roll it. Lawler arrives at second base. It's an error on Snider. Well, the White Sox have breezed out in front 5-0. And Billy Goodman is up. Strike one called on Bill. Coming to bat for the second time. First inning. He skied out to the center fielder, Duke Snider. A ball. 1-1. You know, the way the wind has been blowing today, there was some doubt as to whether Kluszewski's drive would get into the lower seats. But it made it. And what a hit it was for the White Sox. Ground ball, wide of first. Hodges can't get it, a base hit. Here comes a runner around third. And while Lawler is not a speed merchant, he scores. Chicago leads 6-0. Lopez's team certainly has looked terrific. Here it is early in the World Series, but they're hitting that ball. That 6th run will be charged against Roger Craig. And left-hander Sandy Koufax is starting to tune up for the West Coast team. The last 5 batters to come to the plate have all been able to get on. The highlight of this inning, a home run by Theodore Kluszewski. Churn, side armor, pitching low and outside to Al Smith. 1-0. Right-hander cuts loose. Inside. A ball. Smith struck out as a leadoff batter in the second. Don't underrate this Al Smith. His batting average is not something you write home about, but he can be dangerous. Right-hander swings, and there's a ball well tagged to left. It is over the head of Moon. Ricochets off of the concrete wall. Billy Goodman, they're sending him to third. Wait a minute, they're going to have, no, the ball gets by Hodges, and here comes the man home. They had held Goodman up, but the ball got by Hodges, and another run scored. 7-0 Chicago. Sure. First of all, take nothing away from Smith. He doubled that ball clear over Moon's head. Moon then threw the ball towards second base, and they had held it one time, Goodman at third. But then the ball got by Hodges, and Goodman took off for the plate, and he scored, and with it, Smith arrives at third base. The infield is up. The batter now is Jim Rivera, and it's a strike one call. There's a bounding ball to the second baseman. They're coming to the plate. Roseboro lets it get by. They had the man dead coming home, but the ball gets by Roseboro. Another run scored. It's now 8-0. Chicago. Charlie Neal, with the infield drawn in, made the pickup, and it appeared he made a good throw. But it's skidded by Roseboro, and Smith is allowed to come in, and Rivera takes off and makes second base. White Sox are having a big time of it. They rolled an error on Snider on that two-base hit off the wall by Al Smith. Snider made the throw, and Snider was charged with the error. Now here is still another error added against the Dodgers. The batter is Early Wynn. The pitch is a ball, low. The Go-Go Sox have batted around. Line drive to left center. That might be a hit. It is. It's in there for extra bases. Here comes another run home. Rivera scores, and Early Wynn chips in with a double. Oh, are these White Sox going to town? They lead 9-0. It's a double for Early Wynn. On the last play, they ruled an error on Neal. So this has really been a hectic inning for the California Nine. Early Wynn doubles home a run. White Sox fans can hardly believe it, but are they having a lot of fun? Seven runs have poured across in this wild third inning. The batter now is Louie Aparicio, batting for the second time. Louie sends one to the mound. Chuck Churn stops it. He made a look at second base and goes to first, and Louie Aparicio is up. Two gone. Nellie Fox stepping in. It'll be the second time up for him in this inning. Yes, Milwaukee scored 7 runs against Bob Turley and knocked him out in the very first inning. The second game of the World Series at Milwaukee last year. There were no errors in that barrage, however. Walks and hits. Now ball one is served up to Nellie Fox. He walked in the first inning and scored. He doubled in the third inning and scored. Churn And he sends one twisting to left, foul, out of play, 1-1. The Sox have 9 runs on 8 hits. Early win at second. Fox sends one spinning right out by Cuccinella. Just missed him. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Roger Craig started the game. He was lifted midway through this 3rd inning. The towering right-hander, Sharon throws as a Strauss cut it down to short. The pickup is made by Maury Wills. Over to first in time, and that's the final out. What an inning, though, for Chicago. 7 runs on 6 hits. There were 3 Dodger errors, and 1 man left on. And at the end of 3 innings of play, the score reads, Chicago 9, Los Angeles nothing.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp and listen, mister. How are you fixed for play? Do you have play? How are you fixed for play? You better check. Please make sure you have enough, cause a worn out blade makes shaving mighty tough. How are you fixed for play? Better look, Gillette.
We have a change for you at third base for the Sox. Sammy Esposito is going in. Billy Goodman coming out. Now we understand that Snider comes up with a record, 2 errors in 1 inning in World Series competition. 7 runs were scored. And I do believe 3 errors in 1 inning might hit on a World Series record. But with it all, the White Sox have really stepped out front. Wally Moon will be leading off in the top half of the 4th inning. Now ready to go. Esposito playing at third base, and you'll find that Lopez will be juggling that position quite a bit during the series. All right, a tap ball toward second base. I doubt if they got a play. They do not. Moon beats it out. A drag bunt and a base hit for Wally Moon. Most of you probably remember this if you followed baseball for any length of time, but the most runs scored in any 1 inning by one club was the fabulous Athletics in 1929. They scored 10 runs in 1 inning to beat the Cubs. That was the day that they were trailing 8-0. And the fellow who won the game in that tremendous inning for the A's is attending the game today. The well-known Jimmy Dykes, who is now the skipper of the Detroit Tigers in the American League. Here's Duke Snider batting against Wynn. 1 man on, nobody out. Foul ball just below this booth. 0-1. A riotous 3rd inning for Chicago. They lead 9-0. Snider, the first trip, drew a base on balls. Long fly ball to right field. However, it hangs up, and Rivera is over and just inside the line. That is all for Snider. 1 down. Tomorrow, the second game of the World Series will be coming from Chicago, and it'll be on at 1:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Johnny Padres will pitch against Bob Shaw. And if you can't be here, Mel Allen and I will be on the air to bring it your way. Outfielder Norm Locker. They've really had him flying through that outfield, haven't they? As a batter, he lined out to Jimmy Rivera in the first inning. Outside a ball. Most of the time, Early Wynn has had to work hard for his victories. The 39-year-older now has a 9-run edge. On the stretch, he throws wide, 2-0. They have blocked out a few of the seats in the center field bleachers section to give a better background to the batter. Outside high. 3-0. Wynn has given up 2 hits. Both infield singles. Strike. 3-1. The steady early Wynn moves to the plate with a strike 2 call. Moon located at first, 1 out. We're in the top half of the 4th inning. Locker sends a high twisting foul down the left field line, and it's getting over near the seats and ricochets back onto the playing field. Al Smith was digging that time and came very close to getting a hold of it. 3-2. Waiting for Smith to return to left. Play resumed. Fly ball, well hit to center. Landis backing off, and the ball hawk surrounds it. 2 gone. That's all for Norm Locker. First baseman Gil Hodges. Coming around for the second turn. He led off in the second inning. Skied out to Al Smith in left. Again, the scoreboard reading, 9-0. The Chicago White Sox lead in the first game of the World Series. Long drive to left field. Is it coming foul? It is a foul into those lower box seats. Strike 1. Some of the fans who haven't seen the White Sox during the season, they have really put on a show today. They're out front, 9-0. We're waiting now for the second pitch to Gil Hodges. Sends one spinning out over second base. It's a hit, and Wally Moon moves on down the line to second. So runners at first and second base. Waiting for Johnny Roseborough. The Dodgers, of course, have been behind in games this year. They haven't been behind 9-0 early in the game very often, I can tell you that, but we have seen them on many occasions come from behind to win. And you'll remember in the middle of September, they were trailing and came on to beat off 2 ball clubs, Milwaukee and San Francisco. Now strike 1 is called. The official ruling on the play a moment ago. On the ball, it was hit towards second baseman Neal. They ruled an error against Neal on a low throw that got by Johnny Roseborough. 2 on, 2 out. It's a strike. Strike two. Now, Roseborough was in the process of going around a swing. He checked his swing, and plate umpire Summers says it's good enough for a strike. Inside. That was that famous early win knuckleball. And he loves to throw it when he gets ahead of the batter. 1-2. Now, this is the second scoring threat the Dodgers have had. 2 out, 2 on. Swing it. He's out. Wynn threw a fastball outside, and Roseborough chased it. So it's no runs, 2 hits, and 2 left on base. Score as we now go into the last half of the 4th inning. Chicago 9, Los Angeles 0. You know, fans, this is the first World Series game for everyone on the Chicago team except Early Wynn, Al Smith, Earl Torgerson, and Sherman Lawler. And it's my first chance to be on the Gillette cavalcade of sports. But believe me, I've been a Gillette man for many, many years. A Gillette razor has always been top for my money, but that new adjustable, man, that is really something. You yourself adjust this razor to suit your skin, your beard. It's so easy. All it takes is a turn of the micrometer dial on the handle of the Gillette adjustable. Now remember, there are 9 different numbered settings. The lower numbers give you less blade edge exposure. The higher numbers, more. You get clean, refreshing shaves, fast shaves that make you look and feel like a million. Try the Gillette adjustable on our guarantee of complete satisfaction or your money back. It costs only $1.95, and that includes a dispenser of Gillette Blue Blades and handsome travel case. Ready to go. And leading off for the White Sox, Jim Landis. Some of the managers that I've talked to in the American League tell me one of these days this fella is likely to be another Willie Mays, the way he flies in the outfield. A ball one inside. In the American League, they'll tell you that nobody can touch him going for a fly ball. And how he's hitting the ball today, Landis. He has 2 for 2 and 2 runs scored. And 1 run batted across. Ball one. A strike. The Sox had 11 batters come up in the wild 3rd inning. There's another base hit for that Landis. Oh, is he ever hot. A single to left for Jim Landis. What a way to break into a World Series. And I know those fans and followers of Landis back in California are mighty proud of him. Big boy Ted Kluszewski. What an imposing sight he is. He always cuts his shirt sleeve off high up on the shoulder and exposes those huge biceps. He has a single and a home run to right. 3 runs batted across. Rookie Churn goes over to first base. Landis back. Nine to nothing, Chicago leads. First game of the 1959 World Series. A stretch. Clue takes a sweep and fouls this one out of play. 1-1. now have 9 runs and 9 hits. Once again, you can hear them cheering for Landis. They want him to steal. How they love to run, the Chicago outfit. Outside. Just a little move that Landis makes while the pitcher is on the stretch is enough to upset you. And, of course, Aparicio is even greater on that move. Right-hander Clem Levine now tuning up in the bullpen. Outside. 2-1. Sox started early with 2 runs in the first inning. They took advantage of 3 miscues in the third and also hit a barrage, 6 hits, and produced 7 runs. 2-1 to Klue. There goes a runner. The hit and run is on, and Klue fouls it off. Now, you'll remember those two put a hit run on in the first inning, and it helped lead to 2 runs. Hodges has called for time. First baseman moving over to the mound. 3 of the 6. I should say that 3 of the 9 runs are charged against Chern. Craig was a starter. Keeps an eye on Landis. Fires the ball back to first base. He's safe. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Angela right-hander throws a curve, and Cole lets go another long salvo to right field. It's a home run into the upper deck. Breaks loose in Chicago on the south side as Ted Kluszewski, to go one better, hits this ball into the upper deck in right field, and the White Sox have 2 more. They're running away from the Dodgers now, 11-0. 2 home runs for Kluszewski in 2 consecutive times at bat. Kluszewski has 3 for 3 in this game, and that might be the curtain for young Chuck Chern. 2 runs on 2 hits. You know, the White Sox were never noted for their home run hitting during the season, but they're really showing us home run power today. Offered up by Mr. Ted Theodore Kluszewski. We're waiting for another pitcher. We pause now, 30 seconds for station identification.
WGY, WGFM Schenectady. World Series time, party time, or any time. Your thirst demands bright, refreshing satisfaction. Treat yourself to genuine Saratoga Vichy. Enjoy its extra dry flavor and sparkling tang now.
Saratoga Vichy. Yellow label. Saratoga Vichy. Yellow label. Saratoga Vichy.
Catch dividend days at Troy Savings Bank. Right now, deposits made before October 15th earn a big 3.25% from October 1st. Free parking.
Right-hander Clem Levine is making that long, slow walk from the center field bullpen. Well, how about this Ted Kluszewski today, fans? He's hit 2 homers. He has 5 RBIs. And Chuck Chern is going to leave the game. Nobody out here in the 4th. So Chern pitched 2/3 of an inning. 5 hits he gave up. Now it appears to me today that some World Series history is being made. This is truly a tremendous ball club, at least through the early rounds of this first game, the White Sox.
This is quite surprising in view of the fact that the White Sox have been a team known as a team that beats you with a base hit or a walk, a sacrifice, a stolen base, another base hit. And suddenly they have broken loose with tremendous power, so that it has been a complete reversal of form. And that's, of course, if I may be a little bit naive, is what makes it all so wonderful. You really don't know what's going to happen. Of course, records have been tied right and left. I don't know whether you want to bore the people all of the statistics. Most home runs in a game, the Babe hit 3. And, of course, been many who have hit 2. And, of course, this 2 in a row here. But we'll give them the statistics insofar as the records a little bit later.
I believe, too, that Mel could tell you that the White Sox were practically last in their own league in home runs. I do believe they hit more home runs against Cleveland, though, than Cleveland hit against Chicago. But be that as it may, Kluszewski has really led the parade so far. Now, Clem Levine, the old curveballer, is up there working, and his opponent is now Sherm Luther. Outside, ball 1. The third Dodger pitcher has entered the ball game. Clem Levine, right-hander from Woonsocket, Rhode Island, has been considered over the years one of the top relievers in the game. Ball 2 is low. Now, catcher Lawler hit a sacrifice fly, which was good enough to get a run home in the first. And then he was safe on a 2-base error by Duke Snider in the 3rd inning. 11-0. Chicago leads. Nobody on. Kluszewski took care of that. A fly ball to left. Wally Moon is giving way to Snider, and Snider stays with it for the out. It appears to me that Moon and Snider are having a little difficulty with the wind that's coming off Lake Michigan today. And there are a few wind currents, and the tough sun field at this time of day is left field. 1 down. Two runs across. Esposito is the batter. High. After the White Sox built up a good lead, Lopez decided to bring in Sammy. Esposito. Makes his home right here in Chicago. He's a right-handed batter. Ball 2, low and outside. "27-year-older. And a very, very good spot ball player. Strike. 2-1. Landis with a single, Kluszewski with a homer, accounting for 2 more here in the 4th. Strike. 2-2. Levine into full motion. Inside, low, ball 3. Now Clem, usually he's right around the plate. Over the years, he's been known for his great breaking stuff and excellent control. Charles Zarella delivers. Strike 3 call. Levine records a strikeout. 2 gone. That's all for Sammy Esposito. Outfielder Al Smith. He was out on strikes, but then he turned and got a double to left. He hit one over the head of Wally Moon. It ricocheted off of the concrete wall in left, and later scored the 8th Chicago run. Piling up an 11-0 lead. That's the story of the White Sox. A fly ball hit pretty deep to right center. Snider and Locker coming together. Who wants it? Locker for the out. So, in the fourth inning, 2 runs on 2 hits, including a homer by Kluszewski, and nobody left on. And at the end of 4-4, it's the White Sox 11, Los Angeles Dodgers nothing. In Chicago, they're having a merry time, to say the least. For their beloved White Sox are riding high on the crest of the first game right now, 11-0. There will be a second game here tomorrow, and it will be starting at 1:45 tomorrow, Eastern Daylight Time. Johnny Padres has been announced as the pitcher against Bob Shaw. No game on Saturday, and the third game of the World Series from the Coliseum in L.A. on Sunday, starting at 4:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Maury Wills leading off. Right-hander Wynn has been a masterful pitcher out there. He's only allowed 3 hits. There's a little chop ball down to second base. Fox up over to Kluszewski, and Maury Wills, who can fly, is thrown out. 1 away. It appears to me that Chuck Asijan is coming out to bat for Levine.
Number 29. Chuck Asijan.
Chuck Asijan. Here's another Californian who was in the major leagues, sent back to the minors. A powerful right-hander. With the Dodgers, in approximately 2 months of play, he hit .247. A right-hander. Batting for Clem Levine. Wynn throws. Too high, ball 1. Once again, they've got lefty Koufax warming up in the bullpen. Asijan goes around and misses. 1-1. One out. Top half of the 5th inning. Swinging, strike 2. That's that famous early win butterfly pitch, better known as the knuckleball. Asijan is an outfielder. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chuck at one time belonged to the Phillies. 2 years ago, he opened the season and picked up 2 doubles at Cincinnati to help Robin Roberts to a victory. Later was traded over to L.A. Strike 3, he's out. Wynn's breaking stuff is really terrific. He records another strikeout, his 4th of the game. 2 out. Leadoff batter, Junior Gilliam. 0 for 2 today. Strike. Call. Not a foul. He went for a changeup. Strike 2. The White Sox have 11 runs on 10 hits. They're playing errorless ball. The Dodgers, no runs, 3 hits. And they've committed 3 miscues. 2 out and nobody on. Low, ball 1. Gilliam, a very nervous type hitter. He continually swishes the bat out front. Change up, he pops it up this way, foul. Chicago picked up 2 runs in the first inning. They broke loose for 7 runs in the third inning. And they added 2 more in the fourth. Strike 3 call. Wind's getting hotter as the ball game rolls. Another strikeout, number 5, and it's no runs, no hits, and nobody left on. Moving in to the last half of the 5th inning. Chicago 11, L.A. nothing. Well, here in Chicago today, it's cloudy and cool. Temperature 64. But hey, wasn't this summer a real scorcher? I'll tell you one thing, though. It sure made me appreciate the refreshing pickup that you get from clean shaving cream. Yes, and that reminds me, the Gillette Foamy is one of the top-selling instant lathers. It's fast and convenient. Just a press of the handy nozzle, and you have rich snow-white lather that holds a barrel of water against your beard. And full-bodied Foamy saves you money, for just a little bit goes a long, long way. Foamy also gives your skin the added protection of K34, an exclusive antiseptic that kills harmful bacteria while you shave. Gillette Foamy comes in 2 sizes, regular at 79 cents, or the new giant size containing almost twice as much lather for only 98 cents. And if you like, try Foamy with cool, soothing menthol lather. It's available in either size at a store near you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is an extreme pleasure for me to bring to the microphone an old friend of mine of long standing. I consider him tops in our business, and he's worked on many, many a World Series. I put you now in the hands of Mel Allen.
Hello there, everybody. Thank you very much, By, and what a workout you had in your World Series debut. 11-0 in favor of the Chicago White Sox as we come into the last half of the 5th inning. Sandy Koufax, a native of Brooklyn, New York, who now resides in Los Angeles, a 6'2", 204-pounder, who is approaching his 24th birthday, had a record of 8-6 on the season, and, of course, turned in a magnificent performance this year when he struck out 18 men in one game to tie Bob Feller's record. Got a good curve. His control is sometimes erratic. And we're all set now as the left-hander comes in to face Jim Rivera, who fouled to first and grounded to second in a fielder's choice play that resulted in an error. The left hand into the windup. In comes the pitch, and it's a fastball inside. Ball 1. A lot of new records have been put into the book today, and some tied. Koufax to the windup delivers. Jim Rivera swings and lets a high fly ball into right field. Norm Larker moving under it. The wind blows it toward the line, and he makes the catch. 1 away. Early Wynn will be coming out, and he'll get a round of applause. The 11 men that came to bat in the 3rd inning when the White Sox scored 7, 4 short of the record. The A's, when they scored 10 runs in the inning, which By told you about. Here's a hand for Early Wynn. When the A's in 1929 set the World Series record for most runs in an inning, 10 against the Cubs, they sent 15 men to the plate. Wynn, the switch hitter, batting right-handed now against Sandy Koufax. In comes the pitch, fastball over, strike 1. Wynn hit to the box and double to left. Outfield, just about straight away. Next pitch swung on and missed, strike 2, and Wynn really wheeled on that one. He was trying to join Klue. Koufax into the windup. Around comes the left arm, the pitch, and it's in there for called strike 3. 2 away. And some of the White Sox fans still give Wynn a rippled applause as he returns to the White Sox dugout. Little Louie Aparicio from Venezuela popped to short, line to right, and tapped to the box. Right-hand hitter. Jim Gilliam shortened up at third. Koufax working fast, delivers. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike one. Wally Moon playing him straightaway left. Snider shaded a little into left center. Larker almost straightaway right. Koufax next delivery, an overhand fastball looped over short onto the left center. Coming on fast as Moon makes a fine running catch, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And at the end of 5 innings of play, the score, the White Sox 11, the Dodgers nothing.
Now, with the miracle of guided medicine, you can relieve your cough as easily as you relieve a headache. Take Thorexin, the guided cough medicine that goes to the right spot, your cough control center. Doctors know coughing is not controlled in the throat. Your throat merely follows orders from the cough control center, which sends the message, and you cough. Now, ordinary cough syrups don't even touch the cough center. Until now, only cough medicines with narcotics could depress this cough center. But narcotics may leave undesirable side effects. Instead of narcotics, Thorexin contains dimethorphan. Thorexin soothes your throat, then speeds through your bloodstream directly to the cough control center. Thorexin relieves coughing like aspirin relieves headaches. Fast, sure, safe for the whole family. So get Thorexin, the guided cough medicine.
In the first half of the 6th inning, Charlie Neal, hitting second in the order, will be followed by Moon and Snider. Neal beat out a roller to third in the first inning, grounded to short. Early wind, breezing along, into the windup. Around comes the right arm, in comes the pitch. Swung on, lined into left field for a base hit. Al Smith up for the ball, whips his throw back in to Louie Aparicio. And Charlie Neal comes up with his second base hit of the ball game. Now Wally Moon, who popped to short and beat out an infield hit. Left-hand batter steps in with Duke Snider to follow. The White Sox leading 11-0. Somebody had to lead, but the surprise is the enormity of the score. Wynn checks the runner. Looks over the left shoulder of the pitch. Swung on, little roller, hit down to first to Klue. He takes it, makes the sure out at first base, unassisted, as Neal moves on to second. One away, and here is Duke Snider, who walked and flied to right. A fellow who has set so many positive records and tied them in World Series play in the past, but who set a new record today when he made 2 errors in 1 inning. And that's a record for most errors in an inning by an outfielder. But it would take us a few minutes to tell you about all the positive records the Duke has put into the books. Here's the delivery. Swung on. It's a high pop-up down the left field line. Back up third to Wynn, holds it, moving over. Esposito makes the catch right at the edge of the stands with Aparicio sprinting over and standing right behind him. Snider fouls out to Esposito, who had replaced Goodman. 2 down, and here's Norm Larker, who flied to right and flied to center. Left-hand batter. 6th inning, 11-0 White Sox. First game of the World Series. 2 men away. Charlie Neal on second base. Wynn to the stretch, checks the runner. Here's the pitch. High outside, ball 1. Outfield playing straight away. Wynn ready. In comes the delivery. It's in there for a strike, breaking pitch. Gil Hodges on deck. Wynn taking his time now. Neal on second, 2 away. First half, the 6th inning. Wynn steps off the rubber as Charlie Neal danced way off second base. Neither Aparicio nor Koufax were trying to hold him close. Wynn again to the stretch. Look around. Still eyes the runner. Now the pitch. And it's high and away. A 2-1 count. Two balls, 1 strike. Neal leading away from second, unmolested. Wynn delivers. Swung on and missed. Good fastball. Strike 2, 2-2. Pee Wee Reeves coaching at third. Greg Malaby at first. Two balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs. Neal leading away, and then time is asked for by Norm Larker, and he steps out. Now he moves back into hitting position. Wynn again to the stretch. Checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Swung on, a ground ball hit foul down the first base line. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Johnny Podres will be pitching for the Dodgers tomorrow. Bob Shaw for the White Sox. And then the series will move on after a day rest or an open date for traveling to the Los Angeles Coliseum. Wynn again to the stretch. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. A high fastball struck him out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on, 6 strikeouts for Wynn. And at the end of 5.5 innings, the White Sox 11, the Dodgers nothing. Capacity crowd out here today in the neighborhood of 48 to 50,000. And how these Chicago fans have supported their team this year. As a matter of fact, they set an all-time Comiskey Park attendance record. And speaking of records, Chicago, along with the rest of the country, has gone all out for the Gillette Adjustable. Now, if you haven't seen this remarkable new razor, then by all means be sure you do. Never before has there been anything like it. You set an adjusting collar on the handle to match your skin and beard. You can turn to 9 different degrees of edge, exposure, and angle. Within this range, there's a setting that delivers you clean shaves, fast shaves, with comfort that's nothing short of sensational. Gillette guarantees that, or your money back. The Gillette Adjustable costs only $1.95, complete with Gillette Blue Blade dispenser and travel case.
For Los Angeles, number 2, Don Demeter. Now playing center. Don Demeter.
In the last half of the 6th inning, Don Demeter has gone in to replace Duke Snider in center field. The Duke has been plagued with a knee injury. And so with the White Sox well ahead 11-0, Don Demeter goes in to replace him. In the last of the 6th, Nelson Fox leads off for the White Sox. He walked, doubled, and grounded to short. The pitch swung on, fouled back upstairs onto the roof, strike 1. Sandy Koufax, the 4th Dodger pitcher, came on last inning and got the side out in 1-2-3 fashion. Gilliam shortened up at third. Next pitch is into the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fox is a spray hitter. He hits a lot to left and left center. Moon is playing him well over to the left field line. Don Demeter, the replacement for Snider, shaded into the left center, while Norm Larker is just a little bit off straightaway right. Koufax to the windup. Around comes the left arm. The pitch to Fox swung on. It's a high pop into very short left. Coming on is Wally Moon, and he makes the catch in behind Maury Wills, who had gone out. One down in the sixth. And here is Jim Landis, who has 3 for 3. Single to right center, to right, and to left. Here's the pitch. Swung on. A bouncer hit the short. Wills takes it on a big hop, throws on to Hodges, and Landis is out at first. 2 up and 2 down. And here is Kluszewski, and listen to the hand. Kluszewski with 5 runs batted in, single to right in the first inning, and hit consecutive homers in the third and fourth innings. Outfield moves around to the right. Mr. Muscle squares away. Koufax into the windup. In comes the pitch. Swung on. Little bouncer by the mound. The slow roller. Neal up with it. Across the body. Flip in time for the out on a beautiful play by the second baseman, who is magnificent on that throw across the body as he charges in on a slow hit ball. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And at the end of 6 innings of play, the White Sox 11, the Dodgers nothing. For the Dodgers, Johnny Roseboro on deck and Maury Wills to follow. Hodges flied to left and single to center. He's had 1 for 2. White Sox leading 11-0 for the 7-run third inning. The outfield plays Hodges to pull. Shaded toward left and center and left, almost straightaway right. Have a little action now in the Dodger bullpen. Wynn checking with Sherman Lawler. Swings to the windup. Round comes the right arm. In comes the pitch. And it's in there for a strike. Johnny Kupstein is warming up for the Dodgers. Walt Alston said before the series began, not making any excuses, but just merely analyzing the situation. The result of the playoffs and the big finish, the pitchers retired. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled back. The most rested man was Roger Craig, who started. But the White Sox quickly got him out of there. In the fourth inning, Craig was charged with 5 runs. Chuck Churn with 6. Labine and Koufax have come in to stem the White Sox tide. Now the 2-strike pitch to the right-hand batter. Gil Hodges takes it into the dirt. It hit out in front and skipped by Sherman Lawler. Early Wynn, who's a very amiable fellow, pleasant smile, when he's out on that mound, is completely different. He's a stony-faced veteran. He stares you down, never gives in to a hitter. One of the greatest competitors in the game. Here's the delivery, and little tap. Hit to the mound on a check swing. Wynn up with it, flips to Kluszewski, and Hodges is retired. Now coming to bat, Johnny Roseboro, who popped to short and struck out. Early Wynn, who is a native of Hartford, Alabama, and lives in Nokomis, Florida now. 15th among the all-time winners among Major League pitchers. Delivers to the left-hand batter. Fastball in there for a strike. He moves that ball around. In and out, up and down. At 39, a magnificent pitcher still. The pitch swung on and fouled back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. White Sox 11, Dodgers nothing, 7th inning. A 2-strike count. Wynn staying ahead of the hitters. Into the windup. Around comes the right arm, the pitch. And it's a little high. 1-2. The Dodgers winning the National League pennant this year, coming from 7th, did a magnificent job, and it was a real team effort. The 1-2 pitch on its way. It's high, ball 2. Johnny Roseborough at bat. From Compton, California. Wind to the windup. In comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, grounded on the first base line. One of the field attendants let the ball roll through his legs, and some of the fans started reaching for it and rolled by, many clutching hands seeking a World Series souvenir. 2 balls, 2 strikes on the left-hand batter. Wind to the windup. In comes the pitch, and Roseborough swings and lifts a high pop-up toward first. Kluszewski calling for it. Clock's right near him. And in foul territory, 2 feet foul in behind first base, Roseborough is retired on a pop-up to Ted Kluszewski, who himself says it is a wonderful feeling to be in a World Series. Never had been in one with Cincinnati and with Pittsburgh, and suddenly, toward the end of the year, the White Sox acquired his contract from Pittsburgh, and he says, here I am. He says, hard to believe. Maury Wills up, left-hand batter. Takes it high for a ball. Well, he made a believer out of a lot of folks, as well as himself, with that booming bat. The 1-0 pitch on its way to Wills. Swings and fouls it back, out of play. 1-1 the count. Klue said, as a matter of fact, that his back feels much better, doesn't give him much pain, though he had not hit many homers since joining the White Sox, as by some told you, only 2. But he began to get more distance toward the end of the season. Here's the pitch, swung on line by third into left field by Maury Wills for a base hit. Al Smith tosses back into Louie Aparicio. And Wills singles to left for the 5th Dodger hit. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Sandy Koufax. Ron Fairley. Ron Fairley, 5'10", 175-pounder, born in Macon, Georgia, lives in Long Beach, California. Stocky left-hand hitter. Just 21 years old. From Southern California. The pitch is swung on. He hits a slow bouncer wide at first. Klue goes over, grabs it, flips to win, covering in time. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. And at the end of 6.5 innings, the score is the White Sox 11, the Dodgers nothing. Easy as you tuned in this ball game, friends, you can dial just the kind of shave you want with a new Gillette 195 adjustable. That's right. On the handle of this razor is a micrometer dial with markings from 1 to 9. Yes, there are 9 different adjustments of edge, exposure, and angle. A turn to the left gives you less blade edge. Turn the dial to the right, and more blade edge is exposed. Men with light beards, heavy beards, tender skin, any combination in the book are guaranteed clean, long-lasting shaves. Comfort they may never have thought possible. That's a positive money-back guarantee. The Gillette adjustable razor, complete with a dispenser of Gillette Blue Blades and travel case, costs only $1.95. In the last half of the 7th inning, Johnny Kupstein comes in to pitch. White Sox fans, who of course predominate here today, are up for their 7th inning stretch. They waited 40 years for this World Series. Not all of them, of course, because some of them not 40 years old. But the last pennant the White Sox won was in 1919. They had, of course, won 3 pennants previously. And now Johnny Klippstein comes in to take over. Sandy Koufax, who came on in the fifth, worked 2 perfect innings, 3 up and 3 down in each inning. Sherman Lawler will be leading off for the White Sox in the last of the 7th. Sam Esposito on deck, and Al Smith to follow. The White Sox won the first American League pennant in 1901, but there was no World Series. The first World Series was played in 1903. The White Sox won again in 1906 and beat the crosstown rivals, the Chicago Cubs, 4 out of 6. And then in 1917, when the White Sox next won, they beat the Giants 4 out of 6, but lost to Cincinnati in 1919, 5 out of 8. The Dodgers, on the other hand, have been in 9 World Series. This is the 10th, and they've only won 1 out of the 9 which they participated. Right-hander Johnny Klippstein, who had a record of 4-0 on the season, pitching to Sherman Lawler. The delivery, low outside for a ball. Klippstein only appeared in 28 games, mostly in relief, worked only 46 innings. Here's the pitch, swung on and fouled off out of play. A 1-1 count. The brilliant sunshine that prevailed when the first game of the World Series began has now given way to cloudy skies. And the temperature is dropping somewhat below the 64 that it was at noontime. Klippstein delivers to Lawler. Low and away. Ball 2, 2-1. Lawler hit a sacrifice fly to right center in the first inning. Was safe on an error by Snider in the third on a fly ball to center, and he flied to center again in the fourth. Here's the pitch. Swung on and fouled off at the plate. White Sox 11, the Dodgers nothing. It's the last of the 7th. You know, it's an oddity if a team ever has to lose a game. They'd rather lose it 11-0. Not that this one is over, but they'd rather lose it this way than 3-2 or 1-0.
Mel, I think you're absolutely right. And I think the highest shutout total, this would tie a record, provided, of course, Early keeps going.
Lawler swings at the next pitch, grounds it to third. Gilliam is left up with it over to first in time, and there's 1 away. Now Sam Esposito, who took over defensively in the 4th inning for Billy Goodman, a native of Chicago. Al Lopez trying to get a little more punch in his batting order. Starts Goodman. If he gets ahead, he puts Esposito in. The right-hand batter takes low outside for a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Esposito appeared in 69 games this year and batted 167. Klippstein's pitch gets the outside corner of the fastball. The count is 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outfield shaded a little toward the left. Klippstein working rapidly. Here's the pitch, and it's low outside. 2-1. One away in the last of the 7th inning. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled off, back to first, out of play up onto the pavilion roof. Got a kick out of seeing Red Faber and Ray Shaw as a battery throwing out the first pitch. Here's the delivery. Swung on, hit right back to the box. Beautifully grabbed by Klippstein. The throw to first in time. One of those shots that most of the time go right through the middle. Johnny went down with the glove and speared it, and Esposito is retired. Now Al Smith, who took a 3rd strike, double to left, and flied to center. Appeared in the World Series of the Indians in 1954. And they lost 4 straight to the Giants. Hit .214 in that series. A clutch player. Klippstein's delivery over that outside corner for a strike. As the series develops, plays may not develop, but Smitty is the kind of a guy who may throw the key run out the plate or come up in the late innings and get the key base hit. He swings and loops one down the right field line, and it is in there for a base hit. He had Larker playing over in the right center, and Smith rounds first and goes into second with a double. He sliced it along the right field line and gets himself a double, his second double of the ball game. He's had 3 extra base hits now in World Series play. He had a homer in 1954. Jim Rivera fouled to first, grounded to second, and flied to right. He's got quite a hitch in his swing. Klippstein to the stretch and the pitch. Curveball line foul down the right field line, parallel to the right field line into the upper deck. 1 strike. In the pennant clinching game for the White Sox, Smith and Rivera hit back-to-back homers to break a 2-2 tie and give the White Sox a 4-2 win over Cleveland that clinched the pennant for them. The 37-year-old left-hand batter takes a strike. Fastball in there just above the knees. He's quite a hustling ball player. Doesn't mind climbing walls or diving. Two men out, Smith on second, and 2 strikes on Jim Rivera. The outfield shaded toward right. Johnny Klippstein ready. In comes the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 3. He really powdered it by. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. And at the end of 7 innings, the score is the White Sox 11, the Dodgers nothing.
Now, with the miracle of guided medicine, you can relieve your cough as easily as you relieve a headache. Take Thorexin, the guided cough medicine that goes to the right spot, your cough control center. Doctors know coughing is not controlled in the throat. Your throat merely follows orders from the cough control center, which sends the message, and you cough. Now, ordinary cough syrups don't even touch the cough center. Until now, only cough medicines with narcotics could depress this cough center. But narcotics may leave undesirable side effects. Instead of narcotics, Thorexin contains dimethorphan. Thorexin soothes your throat, then speeds through your bloodstream directly to the cough control center. Thorexin relieves coughing like aspirin relieves headaches. Fast, sure, safe for the whole family. So get Thorexin, the guided cough medicine.
The 7-inning totals, the White Sox, 11 runs, 11 hits, no errors. The Dodgers, no runs, 5 hits, and 3 errors. In the 8th inning, it's the top of the Dodger order. Jim Gilliam, Charlie Neal, and Wally Moon. Early Wynn, seeking his first World Series victory, denied that in the 54 World Series when he pitched for the Indians. Set to work to Gilliam, batting left-handed against him. Nothing for 3. The pitch is high outside, ball 1. Gilliam grounded to short in the first inning, popped out to second in the third, and looked at the 3rd strike in the 5th inning. Esposito shortened up at 3rd. The outfield straight away. Aparicio in a step or 2 at short. Nellie Fox shading second a little more than first, and in the step from the outfield grass. Kluszewski guarding the line. Wynn delivers high and away, ball 2. You have to shorten up a little bit on Gilliam in the infield. He's good at laying down a bunt, anything to try and get something started in an inning. The 2-0 pitch, swung on, hit foul down the right field line, out of play. The ball landing upon the pavilion roof. The paid attendance today, 48,013. 48,013. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wynn's delivery, swung on, line between third and short into left field for a base hit. Al Smith up for the ball, tossing it back into Louie Aparicio. Jim Gilliam holds up after the turn with a single to left. And now Charlie Neal, who's had 2 for 3, an infield hit in the first inning, grounded to short in the third, single to left in the sixth. He has played great ball for the Dodgers. One of the finest fielding second basemen in the game. His timely hitting late in the season helped the Dodgers move into the pennant. Wynn to the stretch, checks Gilliam. Now the pitch. Outside, gets away from Lawler, but not far enough for any advance. Wynn throws almost everything in the book, including a knuckleball, and he gets ahead of you. Changes his speeds on all of his pitches and keeps that ball moving. In, out, up, down, and around. The right-hander checks the runner. Here's the pitch to Neal, low outside, ball 2. And now we're having some action in the White Sox bullpen. At 39 years of age, early during the season has sometimes begun to weaken in the late innings. Nellie Fox now trots in from second base to talk to him, and here is Al Lopez coming out of the White Sox dugout to talk to Wynn. Jerry Staley is loosening up for the White Sox, and Jerry Staley's coming in. Apparently, Wynn either tired or may have sustained some type of injury. But you could see as he began to lose his control by, all of a sudden, his control was beautiful. And he gets a hand now as he leaves. We shall make every effort, of course, to get some information from the White Sox dugout as to the exact reason for Wynn leaving. Ahead 11-0. There was no indication, in other words, of his being knocked out, though he'd given up the base hit and fell behind on Charlie Neal. And during the course of the season, Wynn appeared in 37 games, all of them in a starting role, and completed 14. So that indicates, as we told you before, that he frequently retire in the very late innings. Jerry Staley coming in. Staley appeared in 67 games for the White Sox this year, all in relief. Had the magnificent earned run average of 2.17, and in the clincher against the Indians in the last of the ninth loaded the bases with 1 out, and they brought Staley in to pitch to Vic Power. 1 pitch. He grounded to Aparicio, who stepped on second and threw to first for the double play that ended the game and brought the first American League pennant to the Chicago White Sox in 40 years. Staley came up with the Cardinals in the National League. In later years, developed into quite a bullpen expert. He moved on to the Yankees and came on to the White Sox on waivers in 1956. He has pretty good knuckleball, but his prime pitch in a clutch is a fine sinker. That has enabled him to save many decisions for other staff members. His most successful season from a won-and-loss standpoint was with the Cardinals in 1951. He chalked up 19 victories and 18 in 1953. We've had word from the White Sox dugout that Early Wynn's right elbow began to stiffen up. And so Al Lopez, rather than risk, of course, any serious injury, and with this big lead, removes him in favor of Jerry Staley. Early Wynn then went 7 innings, plus nobody out in the 8th, allowing 6 hits, walked 1 and struck out 6. A 2-0 count now on Charlie Neal. Gilliam leading away from first. Staley, a right-hander, delivers. It's in there for a strike. The next pitch swung on and grounded foul down the third base line, 2-2. Should Neal walk, the walk would be charged to win with a count of 2-0 or 2-1 or 3-1 or 3-0. That situation exists. Here's the pitch swung on, ground ball hit to Aparicio, over to Fox for 1, back to first. It's a double play. Boy, it was a close one at first base. Frank Dascoli of the National League up for the right hand. And that's been typical of Staley. Coming in with men on and throwing that sinker and getting the double play. Although Neal, with his speed, almost beat it. It was a very close play at first. Here's Wally Moon. Popped to short, had an infield hit and grounded to first. Left-hand batter takes a strike. 0-1. 11-0 White Sox, first half of the 8th. The delivery to Moon. Swung on, bounced to the box. An underhand toss to Klue, and Moon is retired. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, no one left on. And so the score at the end of 7.5 innings remains the White Sox 11, the Dodgers nothing. Here we go with a few more words about that new Gillette 195 adjustable razor. This is a shaving instrument you surely ought to know about. On the handle of the Gillette adjustable, there's a dial with numbers from 1 to 9. Each setting provides a different degree of edge exposure and angle. At the lower numbers, there's less blade edge. As you turn towards the higher numbers, more and more blade is exposed. Between 1 and 9, there's a stop that guarantees utmost shaving luxury. Clean shaves with a comfort every man wants. And it's sold on our money-back guarantee. We guarantee the finest shaves you've ever had. Refreshing shaves that keep you looking your best hour after hour. You'll find the new Gillette adjustable in trim travel case with a dispenser of Gillette Blue Blades at a nearby store. Only $1.95. In the last half of the 8th inning, Jerry Staley will be the first batter, followed by Louie Aparicio and Nellie Fox. The 5 runs batted in by Ted Kluszewski ties a World Series record. Most runs batted in the game. Tony Lazzeri for the Yankees in 1936 and Bill Dickey for the Yankees in 1936. Jerry Staley at bat. Johnny Clipstein's pitch. Misses outside, ball 1. Al Lopez, ever ready, despite the score of a ball game, has a couple men loosening up. Here's the pitch, and it's in there for a strike, 1-1. Tomorrow, Johnny Padres, who won the big game for the Dodgers against the Yankees when they won the World Series a few years back, will go against Bob Shaw. Now the pitch. It's in there. 1-2. Jerry Staley at bat from Vancouver, Washington. Billy Pierce is just loosening up, and Barry Latman along with him. The 1-2 pitch to Staley swung on and fouled back out of play. It is speculation on our part, but we think Pierce is simply loosening up for a future start. There was some thought that he might pitch here tomorrow and not in the Coliseum because of the left field, the shortness of the left field fence there. The next pitch is a curveball over for called strike 3. But on the other hand, Al Lopez figured better go with a young man in case the series goes 6-7 games who might come back. Because in a short series, you got to go with those fellows who can come back with short rest. And Pierce has been having some arm trouble this year, though on any given day, he's one of the best in the business. Louie Aparicio, 0-for-4, right-hand hitter. Clipstein's pitch is over the outside corner for a called strike. Louie popped to short, line to right, hit to the box, and flied to left. Gilliam shortened up at third to protect against the bunting ability of this man. Aparicio swings, sends a slow roller out to second. Charlie Neal up with it, flips on to Hodges, and Aparicio is retired. Andy High, in his scouting report, said the one fellow you have to keep off base to beat the White Sox is Aparicio. Well, they've kept him off base today, but the White Sox have just turned the form sheet upside down with a power explosion. Here is Nelson Fox, who walked double, grounded to short, popped to short, swings and grounds one to second. Neal scoops it up, flips on to Hodges, and that retires the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. At the end of the 8th inning, the score is White Sox 11, Dodgers nothing.
Just twist that dial, and you're all set with the adjustable razor by Gillette. The shave's so easy, fast and clean. So try it and see what I mean.
We pause now 30 seconds for station identification.
This is WGY, WGFM Schenectady. So don't miss the next action-filled game of the 1959 World Series. Follow your team. Follow every thrilling play on your World Series station, WGY 810 on your radio dial. Tomorrow's game from Chicago gets underway at 1:45 p.m. on NBC and WGY, your exclusive World Series station.
First half of the 9th inning. The White Sox 11, the Dodgers nothing. Back in 1934, Dizzy Dean shut out the Detroit Tigers in the World Series 11-0. And so far, this ties then the World Series record for the largest shutout in series play. Jerry Staley pitching to Don Demeter, a right-hand batter, takes it inside. Demeter had replaced Snider last inning. Demeter, tall right-hand hitter, batted .256 on the season. Jerry Staley's pitch is a breaking pitch outside in the count. 2 balls, no strikes. Demeter from Oklahoma City, 6'4", 180-pounder, 24 years old. The pitch swung on and missed. Threw him a knuckleball in tight, 2-1. The 2-1 delivery gets the outside corner breaking pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Norm Larker on deck and Gil Hodges to follow. First of the ninth, first game of the World Series. The veteran Jerry Staley delivers. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. 1 down in the ninth. The 7th Dodger to go down on strikes. Wynn, before he retired, had struck out 6. Norm Larker flied to right, flied to center, and struck out. Left-hand hitter. The pitch is in there, strike 1. Norm Larker, native of Beaver Meadows, Pennsylvania, now resides in Mobile, Alabama. Jerry Staley comes in now with a pitch that's outside. Ball 1, 1-1. A 7-run explosion in the 3rd inning for your late tuners in. Put it away for the White Sox. With Big Ted Kluszewski getting 2 consecutive homers in this game. Staley's delivery. Swung on, line foul down the right field line, out of play. In fact, for those of you who are just on your way home, or might have just gotten home, or just had a chance to tune in, the White Sox got 2 in the first, 7 in the 3rd, and 2 in the 4th. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on, looped over short into left center, and it's in there for a base hit. Landis goes over, cuts it off nicely, whips the throw back into Aparicio, and Larker's held to a single. Landis is capable of showing you some exciting defensive play in center because of his great speed. That's one of the reasons. Cover a lot of ground out there. And that makes a difference, of course, with teams that win a lot of 1-run ball games, and you can hold a man to a single instead of a double or a double instead of a triple. The White Sox won 35 out of 50 one-run games this year. And the Dodgers were very much the same kind of a team, winning 33 out of 55 one-run games. Gil Hodges fouls the pitch off to the left of the plate, strike 1. Gil flied to left, single to center, and hit to the box. Here is one of the nicest men it has ever been our pleasure to meet in baseball. Staley delivers to Gil. Hodges swings and grounds it by off the glove of Esposito. He can't make a play. It's a base hit. Moving on to second is Norm Larker. Esposito made a fine play, even getting a glove on it. The ball spun away from him. Aparicio, going the other way, was too far by him to even take the deflection. And Hodges is credited with a base hit. Runners on first and second, 1 out. And here's Johnny Roseboro. Popped to short, struck out, and fouled out to first. One out in the ninth, 2 on. Jerry Staley delivers. Swung on and missed. Strike 1. Outfield straight away. Staley's next pitch, outside, ball 1, 1-1. If you go by precedent, you can dismiss this first game, assuming that the Dodgers are defeated. The 1-1 delivery, swung on and fouled off to the right of the plate. The St. Louis Cardinals won a playoff for the National League pennant in 1946 and went on to win the World Series. The Giants did the same in 1954. The Indians did the same in 1948. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on. There's a ground ball. Grabbed by Kluszewski. Throws down to Aparicio to force Hodges. And Big Klue took a base hit away from Johnny Roseboro. As he broke to his right, being a left-handed thrower, reached out with the right hand, the gloved hand, and speared the ball when it appeared as if it would be a base hit to right. He threw on to Aparicio to force Hodges. Larker moving on to third. And Carl Furillo, a hero of many a Dodger win in regular season and World Series play, is coming up to hit for Maury Wills. Carl Furillo appearing in his 37th World Series game. 2 men out in the ninth, 11-0 in favor of the White Sox. The pitch swung on, a high pop foul off third and out of play. Furillo hit .290 on the season, appeared in only 50 games. A native of Stony Creek Mills, Pennsylvania, now resides in Manhattan Beach, California. He's had 33 World Series hits, swings and grounds it foul down the third base line. 2 strikes. Clark on third, Roseboro on first, 2 outs in the ninth, 11-0 Chicago. Staley's pitch to Furillo swung on and grounded foul down the first base line. Stan Williams is loosening up for the Dodgers. The second game of the World Series at Comiskey Park tomorrow. An open date Saturday, and the series resumes in Los Angeles on Sunday. Larker leads off third, Roseboro off first, and the pitch to Furillo is inside, 1-2. Outfield toward left and center and left, straightaway right. Runners leading away now from first and third. Jerry Staley in relief of Wynn delivers, and it's inside, ball 2, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 on. First of the ninth. Staley to the stretch. Runners lead away from first and third. The pitch to Furillo. Swung on. It's a high fly ball out into left field. Al Smith moving under it. Makes the catch, and the first game of the World Series is history. And the White Sox win it 11-0. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 men left on. With Jerry Staley coming on to finish up for Early Wynn, relieving him in the 8th inning when Early Wynn's right elbow stiffened up. And while we have learned to expect anything, any day, in any sports event, we were surprised today with a sudden power unleashed by the White Sox. And the final score, Chicago, 11 runs, 11 hits, no errors. The Dodgers, no runs, 8 hits, and 3 errors. In just a moment, we'll review the highlights of today's game for you.
The White Sox get off to a running start with 11 runs, 11 hits, no errors, and 3 left on. The losing Dodgers, no runs, 8 hits. They committed 3 errors, all of them in 1 inning, 8 left on. Early Wynn goes 7 innings to become the winner. And while this is a shutout, it does not go as an individual shutout to Wynn, for he needed help, and Staley came on. I understand the stiffening of the right shoulder and elbow was only a precautionary thing, and Lopez didn't want to take any chances with the wind blowing off Lake Michigan. So Early Wynn is the winner. It's the first time he's ever won a World Series game. He lost one, you'll remember, to the Giants in the 1954 Classic. Roger Craig is the defeated pitcher today. He formerly had a victory and a loss in World Series competition against the Yankees. He was driven out in the 3rd inning. The White Sox, you could see, were off and running in the very first inning. A walk to Fox, a single on a hit and run with Kluszewski, and a sacrifice fly by Schermlatter gave them 2. But they exploded in the 3rd inning to score 7 times. And in that inning, the Dodgers threw in 3 errors to help things along. Duke Snider, an honor I know he doesn't cherish, but at least he broke a record for making 2 errors in 1 inning for an outfielder. Ted Kluszewski tied a record, and I know he's mighty proud of, considering this is the first World Series game he's ever played in. Kluszewski had a single and 2 home runs and drove in 5 of the 11 runs. And as Mel had told you earlier, the 11-0 shutout ties the all-time shutout high, which Dizzy Dean hung on the Detroit Tigers in 1934 on October 9th of that classic between the Cardinals and the Detroit Tigers. The White Sox fans, well, they can hardly believe it. But, of course, in a short series, you never know how long a World Series is going to go. It might go 4, it might go 7. But the White Sox are off and running. And, of course, they haven't had a World's Championship here in Chicago since way back in 1917. The game was played in 2 hours and 35 minutes. Craig the loser. Behind him, we had Chuck Churn, Levine, Koufax, and Klipstein. Kluszewski was a big item. There was no question about it. His home run in the 3rd inning was into the lower seats in right field. His next home run was a titanic shot that carried into the upper deck. So that's the story, and the final score from Chicago today, 11-0, with the White Sox winning.